Hello.
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 Sorry, I'm eating Skittles.
That's all right.
Caught me with Skittles. Song ended before I thought it could.
It's been a
Cheers.
few weeks. Cheers. I got my tea. Cheers.
I
Cheers.
got my my mug made of fine pottery.
Oh, I like it too.
I think it's from Mexico or East McKinney, one of the two.
They
Mm-hmm.
look alike, huh?
Mm-hmm. I was gonna get some of them good torts over there. Shout out to HEB.
What's in your cup tonight?
Water.
Nice.
Water. I've been doing very, very well.
Good.
Not indulging in a lot of alcohol,
Yeah.
but good old fashioned, delicious, tasty H2O.
H2O.
Tackling fuel, as Bobby Boucher would say. But
Nice.
it's good to be back. We took a little vacation. Everybody needs a little vacation
Yeah.
to work on their mental health and had some time to kick it with the fellas last week. Shout outs to the boys. We went to the Mavericks game and we got this. We were sitting next to some dignitaries from Dallas County. I don't know
Oh.
if the crew knew it, but Judge Clay Jenkins was sitting next to us.
Oh, okay. So did y'all didn't show out too much, huh?
No, I didn't want to show out too much. You don't want the first time the judge sees you in such a situation is to
Showing
get
out.
arrested
No.
next to him in the
No,
seats.
no, you don't want that.
Yeah,
You don't want
so,
that.
but it was a good time had by all. I
Good.
needed to get out and hang out with the family and friends.
Good.
And it's good to fellowship and worship with them. And I don't think we worshiped. We were at the Mavericks game, but it's good to hang out.
Where
And
two or more are gathered, there I am also.
he was there, and the Mavericks won. We beat Sacramento. So
Okay.
shout outs to the good Lord.
Mm.
Glad he could help us get that dub, even though we didn't make the playoffs. But the title of the show.
Yeah, what are we today? What are we
It's
doing?
gun debate. The gun debate. I think this is a topic that, unfortunately, as the media has dubbed it, we're a first world country, and mass shootings with assault rifles is something that is starting to become particularly an American phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
To this point, there's been over 140 plus mass shootings with casualties of 4 people or more, including the shooter, 140 plus this year.
This year
alone. There's technically been more mass shootings than there have been days of the year in the United States, which brings up a debate that, as we draw into a political season, always brings up a political firestorm, especially here in Texas. I mean, it's the gun debate. What do we do about these guns? What do we do about guns? People are getting shot with guns. I have a line in the sand, a lot of lines in the sand on this one debate. And the latest incident was a very shocking incident. Typically what we see with mass shootings is schools, some festival, some place that people are going to have a good time. But last one was a workplace shooting. And this shooting happened 28 minutes before this bank opened. Now, this shooting happened in Louisville, Kentucky, downtown Louisville, Kentucky, in a main building, which was right around the corner from their minor league baseball stadium. So this was an area of downtown that at that hour, 8:30, it was a bank building. So the bank was on the first floor and there was other people upstairs. So there were other people who could have been coming to work at this point. This young man, he was Connor Sturgeon. He's 23. He interned at the bank.
That's his name?
Connor Sturgeon. He interned at the bank for 3 summers, I believe, before working at the bank for 2 years. And information was first said that there was word that he was about to be fired. And so far, recapping through some of the media, there doesn't seem to be any type of documentation saying that was about to happen.
Okay.
However, if this is what that young man believed, then this is a gross spread of misinformation that definitely costs a lot of people their lives. And if they were going to do something like that, this is definitely a lesson to everyone in corporate to don't tell anybody until it happens. If that's the case with this, but they're not saying that they can relate this incident to him knowing he was being fired, so they're still trying to search for a motive. The young man came to the bank. This was his killing spree for the people in the bank lasted all of 1 minute.
1 minute. How many?
I believe
casualties.
4. He shot 4 and killed 4 in the bank, wounded 3 others, and shot 1 officer in the head. And I think I'm not sure if he's going to make it, but he's in critical condition. Last time I checked.
What was the weapon?
AR style, okay. 15 style
okay.
rifle that he purchased the Tuesday before Easter. So 6 days before doing this, he actually went and purchased this rifle. Troubling part about this is there were calls to the police because he called people and let them know that he was about to go do this. These people called the police to let them know what he was saying. But, it took him 1 minute to murder 4 people, injure 3 others, and then sit in what is this bank entry building to this building and wait for the police officers to shoot it out with them in this semi-automatic rifle. This young man did not have any type of armored gear, which we saw the young lady in Tennessee that went to the elementary school. She had some type of protective gear on her when she shot in and went in and shot those children and those people at the school. This young man was dressed in basically casual joggers, looked like some low-cut Sperry type shoes. Sorry, Sperry, if I ruined your whole company with that advertisement there. And just a basic button-down shirt. Looked like he was just gonna, hanging out at the barbecue with the friends and stuff. And he's sitting there in the lobby shooting it out with the cops. So the argument, I think, is what do we do with gun control in America? There's a lot of arguments for gun control. There's a lot of arguments on what kind of gun control that we should use. You as a parent, and I think the amount that the startling fact is we're creeping on the #1 cause of death in America for children is gun violence, which is sad. You're talking about children, like elementary school children. As a parent, what do you feel? And we'll get into a lot of different other solutions, because the only way to come up with a solution is talk about solutions. What would you feel is a solution for gun violence in America right now?
As a parent in America right now, I know there is no solution. They're not looking for one. So I don't even bother. In my opinion, we'll never have gun control laws. It's one of to me, we as a nation, our claim is that we are the most powerful armed forces, military in the world. On top of that, we are the heaviest citizen armed country in the world. Those things alone ensure, in my opinion, it ensures that worldwide wars won't be fought here, because we're a citizen. I mean, we're an army of citizens. Mm-hmm. So I try to not. You mentioned this topic and we kind of talked about it, but I hadn't heard about it because I don't try to follow these things, and I know a lot of it when we're just sitting here and it's constantly coming to us. And I know the numbers are real. I'm not saying that the numbers are not real. I know the numbers are real. I just try my best to look at the other side of the coin, how many children and teachers made it to school and then made it home safely, that same day. But gun laws, they'll never change. They just won't. Well, I knew I had some hope prior to Sandy Hook.
Mm-hmm.
When Sandy Hook happened, I knew they didn't give a damn. Those were little, we're going to be all the way real, those were little white children,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody cared. So I know they don't care. And it's not a big enough issue for lawmakers. And I don't know if it's not the issue. I don't know if it's one of those things where the problem is so out of control, because at this point, even if you did put laws, what you gonna do? Go house to house? I mean, at this point, we got them. You and I both are sitting here talking about it. Both of us own, right? Mm-hmm. So, one of the biggest issues, as we said, I believe the NRA, their biggest argument is that gun violence is a mental health issue. But it's one of those things, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I mean, yes, mental health, but if they didn't have the gun, would they be able to act on it? But then there's plenty of people who have guns that don't do these things. So it'll always be that debate. And that's part of, I think, what it, you stir the pot and you back up and you just look and you watch. And again, who's committing most of these, 99.99% of these violences they look like the lawmakers.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead, and it's very interesting that you bring that up, because I kind of want to dive into the video game correlation, and then I want to talk about what politicians are kind of wanting to issue as gun laws, and not so much as what people are thinking, that they're going to go door to door and take your weapons from you.
No.
But what that policy is, and I just kind of dumped into it. So I think it was prior to, I think it was Obama's second term, there was a ban on semi-automatic rifles that was sunsetted. Basically, it had an opportunity to keep usual citizens from having such ease of going to the store and buying a semi-automatic rifle.
Because why does a regular citizen need that?
I don't understand. I had this debate with someone we went to high school with probably 10, 15 years ago, and my stance on this is the same. If you need an assault rifle to protect your house, then you have problems with people that you probably need to talk to the police about.
I agree.
Because I shouldn't need more than a shotgun or maybe a heavy pistol to protect my property.
Right, unless the goon, they coming for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I own a semi-automatic rifle, and I have land in the country, and we go, and I don't shoot it as much as people think that I would shoot it. That's a very high-powered rifle. I mean, if you've ever shot one, you know what you're holding in your hands. Like, this is not just if I hit somebody, they'll be okay. It's like,
no.
You ain't gonna make it, dog.
They're not gonna make it.
That's if you make it, you can be real jacked up, And so I think some of these laws that they need to enact. Well, one, I feel that there does not need to be a reason anymore to sell these weapons in stores to regular citizens. Period. That's it.
There's no reason. No reason.
May 1st, June 1st, Juneteenth, whatever day you want to call it, they're done. Like, once you sell all of what you have out in the store, you're not allowed to stock those anymore. Those are weapons of war.
But what about the ones that's already on the street?
Can't do nothing about it. You just can't. Because the thing is, a lot of these guns that are committing these mass shootings are not stolen guns. They're guns that these people legally purchased and have modified for themselves. So it's not just the kids that broke into someone's house and when they got a semi-automatic rifle, now they're gonna go shoot up the block. Like, that's not happening.
Or guns on the black market either.
Yeah. And if they are on the black market, a lot of these young men that are getting them on the black market, let's be honest, they're committing black on black crime. So they don't care about that anyway. They're probably happy for that
brown on brown,
a brown on brown crime, you know, but it's not a black person walking into a grocery store shooting up white people. It's a white guy walking into a grocery store in Buffalo, New York, shooting up black people.
Because you and I both know if it was the other way, these laws would be handed down immediately.
Doug, you remember the sniper that was in DC, the black man?
Oh yeah.
Well, you ain't heard nothing about him. He was so far into jail, you ain't heard nothing. They not even bringing up the story to talk about.
And you not gonna hear nothing.
Nope, because they don't want anyone to copycat that crime and this was before. Remember, this man didn't have any semi-automatic rifle.
No, he was a sniper shooter.
He was a sniper. So, and he was teaching a young boy how to shoot long rifles. That's what they could get their hands on at the time to commit those crimes. But, you know, you think about what they could have pulled off with in the streets now, you know. And so, yeah, I'm totally against the government walking in my front door and demanding me hand over my guns. I don't think you should be able to demand me hand over anything here. Now, I do think the government has the right to say, we're not selling this on the streets anymore. I mean, there's certain drugs that they don't allow to be sold on the streets. You know, there's this huge movement to get fentanyl off the streets. You know, these white kids are dying left and right from it, overdosing on fentanyl. But they're ready to get fentanyl off the street. But they're not ready to get the guns off the street. So there is a particular, and I will give President Biden his due, because he's really putting the earnest on the people who it is. It's the Republicans. It is purely the Republicans that are going around going, this is not an issue. We don't need to get rid of these weapons. What we need to do is put more armed people in places to prevent this from happening.
Right.
Which, you know, part of the thing, armed security guards do help in situations.
No, they don't. Not with no AR, because the armed security guard not gonna have no semi.
And that's
he gonna have a pistol.
He said in some situations. So he's just gonna become a casualty.
That's it. That's it.
At the end of the day. So the argument for them to keep bringing up, we need to have armed guards. At what point you have armed guards standing at every door? I mean, I think I can't remember which country it is, but they have so many police officers that there's one, like, you can see a police officer from another police officer, like on a street block. Like, there's always a police officer inside of a police officer. And there's not crime there because these police officers don't have guns. These citizens don't have guns. When guns come about, they have certain officers that have guns that are called to the scene to take care of certain things. These countries are peaceful, but I find that it's not so much like they say. It's not the people who own the guns now. It's the person who wants to commit a crime who has to go get the gun, you know? And so I feel that if you do put a ban on selling these rifles, you will see a decrease in I'm going to say, these crimes eventually. I think eventually people stop committing them because part of the whole thing is it's glorified by these videos and these people having these guns. And I think what a lot of us have to realize and deal with is we can't allow the glorification of using these weapons and these kind of things, which brings me to my next point about video games. So I lived on a few sides of town. I lived on the black side of town. I've lived in the country white side of town. And one thing I learned in co-op, that they usually set up grocery stores based on the customer base.
Okay.
You know, you can look at the magazines in a grocery store and kind of gauge what kind of people live in that area based on who purchased those periodicals.
Okay.
Another place where I realized this was if you look at the movies and the video games, especially the video games in certain areas out of these red boxes, it'll tell you what that area is like. So for instance, In the urban areas, I
Mm-hmm.
would see more Madden, NBA 2K, sports related games. When I lived out in the country neighborhood, Call of Duty, Big
Mm-hmm.
Buck Hunter, Deer Hunter. There's a lot of stuff involving people shooting guns, always.
Okay.
And when you play, I don't know, I'm pretty sure you haven't played Call of Duty, but you
Yeah.
know, these games they're simulations to this point. It's no longer just a game where, ooh, you have this gun that looks like something and it just
It's
does.
not Duck Hunt.
No, it's not duck hunt. Yeah,
Okay.
you if you hunt duck hunt, they're allowing you to pick multiple scopes and adjust how you're sighting your scope and pick different rounds and different magazines. Like you're learning more about these guns and the usage of them playing these games every day. And you're seeing these things. You're seeing these guns take people down, legitimately showing your brain this is how you do it. And so this becomes this thing. It makes it cool,
Well, not
because
only that, I think that it also adds to um, how, what is the word? How detached
mhm,
as a society, and especially these kids, like you said, with our video games looked a lot different. But when we're constantly fed death and, like you said, by video, and not just video games. Yeah, I won't necessarily speak on that because I don't. It's been, I can't tell you last time I seen a video game for real, like that.
mhm.
But the video games, but music, all of it adds to our kids not living in real. Like
Yeah,
they feel like it's fantasy, and like you get, oh, I get another life, or I get another this, or and it's like, no, a real gun kills a real person, and there is no more lives. That's
mhm,
it.
yeah.
So, but go ahead. So just to,
And I agree with you.
attach.
I feel like the video game definitely adds to that picture
Yeah.
of what is able to be done and what they can get done, and just the violence. And you play these games long enough, like you do, you become desensitized to it.
That's it. That's the word.
Yeah,
Desensitized.
it
Desensitized.
becomes real. Like the whole Grand Theft Auto. Everybody loves Grand Theft Auto, and just we become desensitized to it. And
Sorry, my family's back.
we love them. They coming in the building. You look, you were on the call when my dad started walking in and out the garage. So, you know, that's how it is.
Yeah.
But like I can honestly say I played a lot of Call of Duty. Did it desensitize me to gun violence? No. Did it make me want to go out and play with guns a lot? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Add that along with, let's say, some real ratchet ass hip hop music, talking about real ratchet stuff and
Well,
shooting up the
I
block and
think
stuff.
that, and you get the sense. Correct me if I'm wrong. That adrenaline and that testosterone and that I'm here to protect and I'm this, I'm bad, and
Yep.
and then I'm gonna say it with my, ain't nobody gonna disrespect me.
Yep.
You have
Same.
that layered on top of it. Who gonna fire me? Like you said,
Yep.
and I don't get fired. I don't get disrespect. I don't
And
get told no. I don't get,
and
and this is
you,
what you get.
you add on, if these people are being treated for any other mental ailments, ADD, ADHD, all of the side effects that come with these pills, no one's even scratched the surface of saying what pills were they taking and were these possibly. So I'm not blaming it on just these pills either.
Yeah.
All of these are all stacked upon one or the other, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And
But here's the thing. That goes back to, like you said, the mental health issue of it all. This country treats mental health like a real, like leprosy.
mhm.
So if we don't deal with it on the very base level of our wellness, we're asking gun, we're gonna skip over. Now, how's your mental health so you can get this gun? We done missed a whole lot of steps with you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like, it's one of those things that if we're gonna talk about the gun laws and how mental health correlates with it, we gotta step back also and just talk about, like I said, the mental health aspect of it, the desensitized. Again, this for me. I don't need to see all these people death laying in the street, that coverage all day. It's just too much. It's just America's too much. I say America because I ain't never lived nowhere else, and I don't really know what it's like anywhere else. But America is just too damn much. We do everything, like say it used to be Texas do everything big. America does everything wrong big, and it's out of control. And we allow certain people, especially if you're of a certain skin color, and if you're of a certain economic background, you get away with anything. Period. It don't matter what you mean. So my thing is, you mentioned the gun law. What are some of the steps to take to try to, because again, the way America is set up anyway, you gotta figure there's bias in these gun laws that they're proposing that will get these same said people these guns anyway. So
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of like the speed limit. Now,
it's a suggestion.
yeah, sometimes I don't speed, sometimes I do. But what I don't do is go too fast. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna go a little fast. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, depending on what I got in the car, I ain't going fast at all.
Okay.
And there's some people who just ain't gonna try it no time of the day.
There you go.
Yeah, you're gonna have laws, and people are going to break laws, but you have to start, just like we said, this is a bunch of problems. So you're going to have to start somewhere. You're going to have to put some regulations. And that's the word that America hates to throw around because politics, regulate, well, because if you tell me what I'm going to do.
That's what I was about to say, because if you regulate, that means you are you trying to take my rights. And we know Americans love their rights. Ooh, all Americans love their own selfish rights. They don't give a damn about nobody else's rights. But my rights, no.
Nope. But let their kids get shot, because like I tell somebody there the other day, I said, it's funny. It's always fake news when the president was trying to get elected, but y'all never screamed fake news when y'all were killing these black kids by the hands of these cops. Got quiet. I said, so where's the fake news? Why? How can y'all get to pick which one is fake news? The once again, it's not my choice of things, but you were right. There are a lot of people who are concerned about their rights. However, I don't think these people are really educated enough to be the people that we should be listening to about their rights and about the rights of the rest of the world. Period. And it's kind of sad that we ended up with that situation. Did I lose you? I might have lost you. She come back. There she is. Yeah. And we might have ended up with that situation, with a lot of laws listening to Mississippi. Knowing Mississippi is one of the least educated states in the United States, we're going to base laws off of what people in Mississippi think? Like, why?
You know why. You know why.
Because they were white and they talk real loud.
There you go. That's why.
Yeah. But that's what I think the problem is right now with social media, especially since I've been off of that tool of the devil. That social media is programmed for you to see the biggest, loudest idiot all the time. And you're always going to see the news from the idiot who wants to say, I got to protect my rights. The reason that person is always on television is because they're so ignorant that it's comical to the educated and the wealthy, and as much as some of these poor people that voted for Trump think that he really cares about them, you're neither educated nor wealthy. So you're just a pawn,
right.
And you're basically in an army for someone who's not going to change anything for the sake of you, because you're still poor and you're still where you were 4 years after he got into the White House. And so take it from someone who was around for Obama's both terms. didn't get my reparations while he was there, so don't think you're gonna get anything. It's not the same. Like they don't care about poor people. They just don't.
No matter what color.
No matter what color. You're the same. A black poor person is the same as a white poor person. You poor and uneducated, and we just want you to do stupid stuff and spend your money.
The only difference is the white person has the ability to put on lipstick and try to fit in.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. But you know, like I said, when it comes to I'm very, like I said, I have a gun and I have one, being alone at home a lot here in World War III.
Yeah.
You feel the need. I recently traveled with one for the first time, but I was going to be alone, isolated. So just for, peace of mind. But, when I took the class twice, actually. The first time I took it, I was just looking around. I was like, these people have lost their fucking mind. Like, it's crazy. I mean, the lady leading the gun class was telling this story about, basically, she's telling this vigilante story of why you need a gun. And I'm thinking, this shit, was she saying that one time, she was out and about and this car came racing by her and made the loop real fast, and so she followed him. Well, there's your first mistake. Mind your fucking business. That ain't got shit to do with you. Like, so she goes over. So she follows him to the gas station real quick and says something to him. So then he pulls a gun. Yeah, because you ain't minding your business. Call the police. That's y'all always hashtag Blue Lives Matter, right? Call them for shit like that. So I'm like, okay. So, and I'm just sitting and I'm like, oh. So all the people that's got these people are nut jobs. No, first of all, no, I'm not gonna be doing all that. That's number one. You've been riding down the street and somebody, I mean, it was always just this thing where it's like, if you could have more emotional intelligence, you wouldn't even have yourself in that situation. Again, even sometimes, and I ain't saying all the time because I know that there are some absolutely butt ass crazy people. I understand that. But a lot of times, if we honest, if you just mind your business and keep your cool, like somebody cut you off on, and I know it's easier said than done, but me now knowing, okay, the probability of who has a gun, I assume everybody is packing. That's my assumption, right? And then I'm gonna assume they crazy. So with that, only thing I got control of is me. You cut me off, I hope you make it to where you going nicely. You have a good day. Because if I don't overreact, ain't no need for you to react at me. You go about do what you need to do. My only goal when I leave the house is to make it back home safely. That's my only goal. I'm not fucking fooling with nobody else. So I'm not even, and again, if I gotta be going somewhere where I feel the need to always have to pack, I'm not fucking going. Like, I'm gonna keep my ass right here at the house.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Deep Ellum in Dallas has become a very dangerous area.
I don't listen.
Again, I can't go.
I drinks my tea right here. If you're not inviting me to, I try my best not to go nowhere at nighttime because I can't see you approaching me. And I try not to go nowhere that I'm not familiar. So, people have lost, people been crazy, but now they done lost they whole mind.
Yeah, I just try to go to restaurants and then get food and then go home. I don't need to be out there shitty. Some of these bars, they turn into clubs later on in the evening and stuff like that. And I just want to have a nice drink, a couple.
That's it. Listen. If I leave the house without my kids, I'm just trying to go out, have a nice adult time, smile, hee, and go home. And I'm trying to be in the bed by 10:30. I'm not trying to do all that extra. But it's like you said, these days, I think, like you said, on top of mental health, people have no emotional health. They're like, their ability to cope is non-existent. So when you have those things, it's a firestorm for I'm just shoot the shit up. I'm blow the shit up.
You know, I have to agree. Me and my sister were talking like I didn't grow up with my parents. We weren't able to not deal with things. Like you had to deal with like you broke this, you getting your butt whooped. You know, like we had to verbally say why we were accountable. Like I'm in trouble because I did this. I'm getting a whooping because I did this. Like you're gonna know that you're the reason that this happened. You know, but I also think that my parents, we weren't shielded from things happening. We weren't shielded from no's. You know, if we got in trouble at school, we got in trouble at school. You know, mom didn't run up there and cuss out the teacher and cuss out the principal because you had a cell phone on.
That ain't it. These people doing mass shootings, their parents ain't doing that.
No. I'm saying like that's not how you weren't getting that. If you're never taught how to handle no's, if you're not ever taught how to handle down moments, if you're not ever taught how to handle failure, then when failure happens, you're gonna fuck up.
No, I can agree with that.
It's like these dudes who get always taught that a woman is supposed to tell them yes. And then when they tell them no, what do? End up hitting them, raping them, doing all kind of crazy stuff. Kids, we were talking about today, life is for real. Kids have to understand there's ups, there's downs.
And it's downs.
And there's things that we can change, and there's things that we can't do shit about, and you have to live through them. Through them. And that's kind of the difference. Like, yeah, you can get a hug and yeah, you can cry about it, but my dad was like, that ain't gonna change it. So why are you gonna sit here and cry all day long about it? Is that gonna change the situation? No. Okay, well, what's crying gonna do? You know, it sucks, but you do, like, you have to. I just feel like these are not the be all end all answers. I'm not solving the world here. All of these things, like I said, are stacked on top of one another. But if you're not teaching a child to handle failure, when you get to you're 23 and you've done everything right, you got these summer internships, blah blah blah. Now you got this bank job. You're 23, and you're 23 with a bank job, and you probably, you know, hell, he probably fucked up. He probably did something he wasn't supposed to do. They probably were talking about firing him, but he's never had that happen before.
But okay.
So
I don't know. This is a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a cultural thing?
No.
I mean, being told no, because I'm looking at most of these mass shootings occur by the same type person.
Yeah, I think the reason that happens is because Black people know first of all, us having a weapon like that and being seen with it in public is going to cause so much fucking panic that we couldn't get away with it.
That's true.
Like if I went to I've gone to the grocery store with my license, with my gun in my belt strap, and I've had people ask me to leave the grocery store because people are nervous. Just because you can see my gun. But let Joey White Boy come in here, and ain't nobody got a problem with him with his gun because they're not afraid of him being violent, even though he's more likely, according to statistics, to shoot this whole store up. You know, but
it's what we're fed.
It's what we're fed. So we're not going to go and commit those kind of crimes because usually, dog, when we are about to get fired, what are we gonna do? We're gonna fuck the office up. We're gonna fuck the warehouse up. And then we're gonna go home and probably get drunk, blame everybody else, you know, for the whole thing, and then go get us another job because that's just how shit happens. Like, you gonna get fired. You know, if you don't ever teach kids that stuff can happen to you and you missed like I said, I don't know this thing, but everybody, he was a good kid. We never saw any signs of this and graduation and blah, 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 blah. But
that leads to my point. That demographic of people are not used to being able to get what they want.
Or not getting what they want.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So then
look at January 6th. Look at all them people. They didn't get what they wanted. What did they do?
Act a whole fool.
Tore up the whole Capitol building.
The whole,
committed all kind of treason.
Had that have been us, they'd have bombed that building.
They bombed the building.
We'll build it again.
They'd bombed the building. Speaking of which, in Texas, there was a man who shot a Army sergeant that was driving Uber on this weekend of a Black Lives Matter rally in Austin 2 years ago, shoots and kills another man that was at the rally. The sergeant, almost ran over his wife. And so he was trying to, tell him to watch out. He had a semi-automatic rifle because it's his right to carry. He owned it. Mm-hmm. This guy pulls his pistol out and shoots him, and then claims that he saw the gun and he was afraid for his life and he shot him. So now,
go ahead.
Greg Abbott is already moving to get him pardoned. So no matter what happens, Greg Abbott has already talked to the board of paroles, and it's like, no matter what, I need to get this guy pardoned, because Republican television put it on and said, this is a travesty. There's no stand your gun laws in Texas because this man was defending himself. When there's clear evidence where the man clearly said, I didn't even give him a chance to point the gun at me. I just shot him. Mm-hmm. How can you be a threat if you ain't even pointed the gun at me?
Well, see, there goes.
It's white on white crime.
Well, and not only that's another scary thing, because if I have all my rights to carry and I'm out and about, I can't be afraid of you and all your rights. So now we just a whole grocery store full of folks carrying. You got the last of the bread, like whatever it is. It's just like you said, it's crazy to me. And it's like, well, I saw him. So now it almost becomes like we say sometimes with the police, well, you shouldn't be afraid. They shouldn't be afraid. Who ain't afraid of somebody else with a gun? Because I don't know what you're thinking or what your intentions are. Yep. So my thing is, at what point does it not? Oh, he went to go touch it. I feared for my life, so I shot it. Well, that's another reason I order my groceries too.
Like I say, it's a good reason to shoot a black man when you stand in your ground. It's been noted in many court cases. Well, that's why we've been shot.
I was about to say, well, you're feared anyway. Just being in your own skin is a threat. So
oh yeah.
Let alone you have some sort of weaponry. You could have some doggone nunchucks.
Oh yeah.
And they're gonna think that, they see a black man with nunchucks, he about to take down the whole building. So
Bruce Leroy is in the building. We got to take him down. So yeah, it does, like I said, and then you have all those issues. So no, you don't really see us as black men committing mass shootings. No. A lot of times if we shoot more than 3 or 4 people, it was because we were stupidly shooting into a crowd. Like, with no intention of really hitting people, just wanting to scare people. And we ended up shooting 4 people. But these people walk into buildings knowing the people that they're shooting with the intent to commit crime, leaving manifestos and notes and telling people they're going to go do these things. Like, don't nobody know that you was going to shoot everybody in Deep Ellum because this dude, pushed you in the middle of the club. To me, that's a totally different type of violence that we're trying to prevent versus these, it's Tuesday and I'm going to walk into the blah, 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 and shoot the first 13 people I see until the cops come. Because the reason they're doing this is not that they're doing this with any point to prove. They want the cops to shoot them. They're too coward to kill themselves. So they want someone else to do it. So they don't have to say that I took my own life. I don't know if there's a religious belief, because I know some religions believe if you take your own life, you go into hell.
I don't believe it's religion involved at all.
I also know, for insurance sake, if you kill yourself, your parents cannot or anyone cannot collect
life insurance
upon you. However, if the police shoot you in an act of crime, unless that's specifically lined out in that insurance policy, which I'm pretty sure eventually is going to start being part of that deal, you're not allowed to get paid on those kind of situations. So like I said, I'm not blaming it all on one thing. Like I said, all of these things, if you could honestly get these people together sometimes and really pool them. And I think a lot of times people won't ever give you all of the real information of how they really got to this point. it always becomes this one singular incident of this at the bank. But there was a lot of thought processes that went into this young man's thought at 23 about why this became the best way for him to go about exacting revenge upon people at his bank, at his place of employment, and then against the city.
And I would say at that age, it wasn't a whole lot. To him, it may be in a lot of thought, but it wasn't a whole lot of thought into it. He was mad. He mad, embarrassed. It all was ego.
Yeah, at the end of the day, and it's sad because it ends up getting you, which is the precursor for your destruction, but it cost people, and whatever it was that he lost, I mean, it was not worth it. Like you said, none of it was worth it. And I'm not validating anything that this young man did. And I will say it's very commendable for his parents to step up to the plate and say, we felt that he was a good kid. We weren't aware that he had a gun. We've never owned guns. We were aware that he was having mental health issues. We were treating that.
They said that.
Mm-hmm. And they said they were trying to work with him, and he did have depression, and they knew about it, and they were trying to help him with it. And
I mean, but he's 23.
Yeah, I mean, it's an early life to start with these kind of things.
Well, not only that, I just think sometimes it's unfair to try to put that on. You can't. I don't know to what bearing the parents have on that. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying it's their fault.
No, I know you weren't. I'm just saying in general when I hear about this. Now, if the kid is at home, living at home, like the Columbine, like, no, I'm in your room. I'm gonna take this damn door off the hinges. Don't close no damn doors. I need to know what the fuck's going on up in here.
Yes.
But a grown person, like you said, and a lot of times, I mean, it's always hindsight, because there are a lot of cases, not just these mass shootings, but people are able to hide a lot of things from a lot of people. And so then that's why people are always so surprised, and you hear the same tune. I had no idea. They honestly probably had no idea, because people are able to hide what they want from who they want for how long they want.
Yeah. If you don't end up with a job. You don't end up with a career.
Well, I mean, a lot of things. You can live in a house with the same person, and people hide depression, like you said, depression, because we talk about mental health, and on the one hand, that is an issue, but on the other hand, it is very high. We're talking about it a lot more in society, but who ain't depressed?
Yeah.
But to what extent that is, but it's just, I can't. All I'm saying is I can't believe when these parents and the loved ones come out and say we had no idea. I think sometimes but there are a lot of times when you don't. When people, like you said, people are able to hide what they want for how long they want.
Yeah, and I think people say, well, I didn't see any red flags. Like he wasn't, because some of these typical shooters, you see them on Facebook, they with the guns. Look at me, go America, righteous. I'm gonna go fight for my, But this guy, I think he just kind of came out of nowhere. There's an interesting part. He had a roommate, and his roommate had noticed some erratic behavior, and also had phoned the cops that morning. But thinking of people who have roommates, like, did he ever notice any other erratic behavior? Did they ever have any? I mean, we've been roommates before. Like, some days I realized, I was like, what's wrong, dog? You ain't feeling good? Like, what's up? Like, but were they even roommates to the point where they were talking? And it does, like, it puts a person in a really weird situation when you're not family or friend, but you're just a roommate, and you're like.
But even when you are family, it still puts you, because like you said, people have bad days. People have, anything, like you said, you could have had a bad moment at work, but does that mean you're about to, like, what constitutes for me to say, I think crazy. What warrants that?
And I think that became the problem in the beginning when they used to have mental health asylums all over the country, is what really defines what needs to keep you in here. Other than Reaganomics want to say, well, we don't have money to pay for mental health care, so we're going to have to get rid of that. And this is the trickle down effect showing up right now.
Yeah, we here. Yeah, this is it.
This is it. It trickled down and got, all these people killed. But yeah, you have to, and it sucks like to get, and we've read a lot of books in school about utopian societies, and I've had a lot of thoughts about those lately. To even get to some of these points, some people just can't be part of that society. Like there has to become certain rules that you deem as like.
That's because for me to get to that place, it has to, one thing is your quote unquote rights can't be higher than they can't mean more than the totality of our life,
Agreed.
our way of living.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? There has to be rules. There has to be a mental and emotional check of yourself constantly and monitoring of others in order to enter that utopia state. Like you said, I do agree with banning the sale moving forward of these semi-automatic, because and then people say I hunt. Y'all ain't, no, you don't. You don't even need to eat meat no more. Like stop eating. No, like
you don't eat half the deer anyway. You just give it away at the end of the year.
So yeah, there's no reason at all for a citizen to have a semi-automatic. It's no real reason.
Nope, I have one right now, and it's in my bedroom. And if I have to use it, am I going to be glad I have it? Yes. But I kind of feel like if I'm going to take a choice in this apartment, I'm probably going to pick my pistol before I pick that rifle.
And I was about to say, and again, where are you going where you're going to have to use? Because, I mean, yeah, you pick it up, it's going to get the job done. But if we honest and you just trying to protect your house from a single burglar, a pistol will do.
Yeah. Yeah, you see it all the time. Homeowner shoots burglar. It's pistols. It's never, semi-automatic rifle dispatches 5 burglars. Like, why'd you have 5 burglars come to your house? They were, like you said.
And let's be, for the most part, you see, that happens to people living a certain lifestyle in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And not a certain lifestyle, whether that be white collar or street collar, but it's a certain type of lifestyle when you have multiple people breaking into your house at one time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Majority of us, I would say this is it because getting close to my old man bedtime. The majority of us in the history of our lives will never kill another human being with a gun. We might in an accident, hopefully never not, but the majority of us, Lord bless the same, will not get the chance to take another human being's life with a gun. And I think the attitude of people with guns now is, I got to have it in case I got to kill someone, in case someone's coming for my life. But legitimately, if I was running dirty and I really wanted to get you, and I know everybody got a gun, this is the problem that we're having now. Everybody knows everybody has a gun. And my dad said this. So if I know you have a gun, I'm just going to shoot you and take what I want. Because I can't take the chance of stick them up. And yeah. So now I just got to shoot you and take what I want. Because if I don't, I'm risking getting my life.
You getting me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm here to tell you, y'all have anything you want. Just leave me and mine alone. But anything, I'm not. No thing means that much to me.
No, and it shouldn't. And I think it's not even so much anymore about things. I think we've just gotten to this point with guns where everybody wants one, and it's just,
bang,
I'm gonna shoot somebody. I'm mad. I'm gonna shoot somebody, and it's just it. And eventually, and I thought it would be that kids would get shot and people would care, And to quote the jerk Ted Cruz, why is it more important for us to arm the bank to protect a deposit than it is for us to arm the schools and to protect kids? Why is it more important for you to keep semi-automatic rifles on the streets than it is for you to get them off the streets, because you can still arm the schools to keep the kids safe, because you're gonna still need to keep the kids safe. There's still gonna be people with mental health issues, apparently, because I'm not saying that this is gonna end gun violence. Like, there's gonna be people with mental health, and people are gonna get the guns. You're not gonna stop them, but you got to stop them from having such big guns. Period.
Guns that do so much damage in such little time.
Weapons of mass destruction.
Weapons of mass destruction. Yep.
Oh, yep. Yeah. So on that note, like I said, I just wanted to touch on the gun debate with you. We hadn't really just dove into that conversation, and you know, we're not going to beat this horse like any other horse that's dead, but I at least wanted us to cover it once in our podcast.
Okay, well, here we go.
And it's done.
And the sad part about it is we'll have way too many more opportunities to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe next time we can involve other people in this conversation and get a different way. But it was definitely fun to kind of chit chat about it and get that perspective. And I do feel some kind of way and moved to some type of action, whatever that is, that as a parent that you just feel like, you know, which is the truth, that they don't give a shit. But I think people with kids should have hope. And for politicians to basically rob you all of something that I feel like is a God-given right for you to have as a parent, is to not live in fear for your child's life. I think it's more than just guns and people losing their guns. I think, as this one doctor said, we gotta take this shit seriously. Like, it's just not about rights anymore. It's about what's right. So on that note,
yeah, that's a good place to end. I like that.
We're gonna get out here. We'll catch y'all in the week after next.
All right. See you in a minute.
Be good. Peace.
Bye.